Hey Ringside crew. Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther the Third.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am your host, Joe Panther the Third, and man, today, it would be being the 4-year anniversary of Dudes at Ringside. I went back and I looked through my books from the past 4 years, and I found a book that I looked through and I wiped the dust off it, and I looked through it, coughed and sneezed as I was opening the book. And then I found a page with a young lady that came on the podcast last time that I had to have her back because she was such a doll last time, and she was so funny and she was so sweet to me. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside return to Avery Breaux.
Woo! Thank you.
Welcome back, Avery. So what have you been up to since the last time we hung out in the Dudes at Ringside studios?
I feel like a lot. I feel like it's been a minute, right?
Yeah. Was it 2002? 2000 I think, right? Was it the last time we hung out? I think it was.
At least.
I think you were, what I remember, you were sitting on your back deck by the pool.
Oh my God, yes.
And it got darker and darker, and you saw your eyes. It was like the Cheshire Cat. All I could see is your smile and your blue eyes just in the haze. It's like she's about to disappear on us. It's gonna be like Cheshire Cat style. I'm like,
we were trying so hard to just ignore it. We were like, yep, there it goes. There it goes.
I was like watching in the background, like, Florida, everybody. Florida sunshine.
We're inside now. We learned. We're making moves.
Yeah, we're making moves. So, like, who have you been, like, in the ring with since, like, who's been your most recent match that you want to talk about?
I'm trying to think. I've been up to Exodus Pro a lot recently in Cleveland. That's been really cool. Been in the ring with a few different people. I'm with my tag partner up there, Stacey Alexander. We're the Stevens now with Aaron Stevens, so that's pretty fun. We just signed. We're part of his family, so that's what we're getting into up there. That's pretty exciting.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So, like, what kind of, like, training regimens have you been doing different than were doing before?
It's kind of been hard. It's been a little different. I had to move a little bit away from flatbacks, so I'm not able to go every day like I was before. So it's kind of just been with my work schedule. I get off work, immediately go to working out, and then with this time, man, no light anymore. I love to go, like, cardio. I love to be outside. So I love to go on either like nature walks / runs. Then I struck up disc golf. That's been really fun. I try to do that on my off days or my lazy days, just so I'm out in nature and doing something. But with this sun going down so early, it's been tough. Got to do cardio inside. Nobody likes doing cardio inside.
Because there's no natural sunlight. You're stuck inside. Your body gets tired because of the neon lights. Like, I'm staring into them every time I do a podcast. I'm giving myself a tan without even thinking about it.
I know. I work inside all day. So as soon as I get off, I don't want to be inside anymore. I want to go outside.
I work in a kitchen. Like sometimes 11, sometimes 3:30 in the afternoon, and I get out at 7 o'clock. So like I come in with the sun and I go out with the darkness. And it's like I go home and do a podcast, and my friends are like, gonna have some dinner. I'm like, yeah, gonna go home and do a podcast. I'm like, yeah, Groundhog Day life.
Just have to.
Yeah, I go home and I do a podcast and then I pass out. I'm the producer. I'll do the podcast, then load it on YouTube to load for a certain date, and then go to bed, and then go do the work, and then I'll oh god, and then I'll go home and I'll be talking to a wrestler. Are you available tonight? Yeah, I'll do it at 8. And then I'll boom do the podcast with them, and then boom go like that. So, like, is there any other place in the parts of Florida or the country that you have not like put your footsteps yet that you want to go to?
Definitely out west. I really want to go sort of anywhere out there and get my foot in the door. I think that's a really big community over there. It's just hard sometimes, with normal life and things like that. But I've been talking to a few different people trying to make some things happen. So we'll see. I'm pretty excited.
Mm-hmm. So you were on Level Up. So what was it like to be on like a bigger stage? Like you're on AEW Dark and on Level Up. So what was it like to be on that like level of stage than being in the normal gyms and like churches that you've been in before?
It was really cool. It was an awesome experience. And then luckily from my gear, I try to base it Mardi Gras colors, purple, green, and gold, things like that. Both audiences recognized it. And so they were chanting Mardi Gras. And I said, that's perfect. I'll take it. So just having like that experience when you wouldn't expect them to maybe know you, but obviously the Florida wrestling community is so big, and they, even people that come up to our shows sometimes, like on the indies, they go to Level Up, they would go to AEW Dark. So it was like cool to see the same people, but also know that like they're recognizing you and they're wanting to be your biggest supporters. It's really cool. So overall, both, I loved doing both. It was great experiences. I had a really good time. It was just awesome.
Awesome. So like, what is it like to have like a little boy or a little girl come up to you at a show and they say, I want to they come up to you and they ask you for the autographs and stuff like that. What does that feel like?
It's so cool. You don't know how it's going to feel until it happens the first time. And you're like, me? Wow. Like, okay. And it's just so cool to have or anyone look up to you, or you be an example, a good example for them. And they want to either be like you, or they see you as something that they would love to be when they grow up or get into, and they can use you and ask whatever questions they need or anything like that. It's always so cool. And I always have normally my mom at all my matches. So she like gets to see them walk up to me and things like that. And she thinks it's the greatest thing in the world. So that's always really cool.
Awesome. So like, is there anybody within the Florida wrestling community that you have not scrapped to it that you really want to work with?
Oh, so many. All the ladies that shine, I always see everything they're doing. There's girls that I've trained with that I haven't been able to get in there with yet, but I would love to. Valentina, her and I have always trained together for a long time. And we've never really had any singles matches. We've tagged together a bunch. We haven't had any singles matches. So always looking to do things like that, or just, get all the experience you can with all kinds of ladies. So I would, anyone.
I could see you wrestling someone like T Gaines or
I love I
love T Gaines.
She's
Such like that girl. That girl is a powerhouse. That's like when you make a WWE superstar and you could make their style. It's just straight up powerhouse. She's just a monster. We love T Gaines. We'll see you soon on Dudes at Ringside very soon.
I've wrestled T Gaines quite a few times, and it always ends with her squatting me about 17 times. So,
I know it sounds weird, but when I'm back on the podcast, I'm gonna ask my mom to give me my exact weight. And I'm like, if I come to Florida, I'm going to say, I want you to do it. I'm 5'1", so she'll probably be able to squat me, flip probably 15 times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a log, T. She'll be like this, Joe. This is nothing.
Literally.
Another one I think I would love to see you wrestle would be a Danny Moe. Definitely like Danny.
I would love that.
Dream match, boom. If it ever happens, make videos and clips, send them to Joe. I will promote the hell out of your match.
We got you.
And Key and Keys Locke, Emily Locke.
Oh yeah, I wrestled her a bunch too. We're actually going to be in Pavo on, I want to say the 20th of this month. Pavo, Georgia. Yeah, SWA. We've been going at it there for a minute. So, and then sometimes in Tampa Bay Pro, we've been there together, or against each other, I should say. And yeah, she's also a very, very good wrestler.
You see her, tell her Joe Panther III says hi, because I haven't worked with her in a minute. She was a face, and she came out with her Twitch personality energy on the podcast. It was hilarious. It was she made her promo, and it was literally in the middle of her stream.
Oh, I love that.
She's in her Twitch chair, and she's like, "Hi, Ringside crew. I'm Emily Locke, and I'm your best friend. I'm your neighbor. I'm your favorite neighbor." And I was like, "Wow!" And then I see her. She's like badass. She's like a heel, and it's like that's not Emily Locke that came on Dudes. This one's mean.
She's different. She's different.
Take my glasses, break them, and then yell at me for 10 minutes. No.
We can't have your glasses broken. No.
Christmas.
They're too good. They're too good. Yeah.
Yeah. One person jokingly told me at work I look like the new Elton John. I was like,
hey, did you say maybe that's what you're going for?
I was like, these glasses are thick boys. That's what I call them.
Thick boys.
Thick boys. I feed them well. Come on, you gotta give them the rice and beans, the banil, the fried bananas,
everything.
All the good Puerto Rican stuff, and the Goya sodas that come in that metal can.
Yes, I've seen those. No, I've seen them, and I want to try them.
They have strawberry, they have pear, they have peach, and stuff like that. So if you know someone that you want to try it, ask them to bring you to a bodega, and don't be scared because they have rice and beans right there in the front that you could buy and bring it all home with you.
Okay. All right. I'm on this. I've got this.
One of my favorite questions to ask before we leave, if there was, when you're at the shows, going to a show, is it you prefer the local cuisine or bringing stuff with you to the show?
Normally, well, it depends. I always like to try local cuisine because, most of these places I haven't been to ever. I'm from Louisiana, and Louisiana itself has fantastic cuisine. But I mean, all these other places, anywhere that you go to, I always love, or if my friends that I'm going up there with, or they're up there, Stacy lives in Cleveland now. So he kind of knows spots. So most of the time, the first time I go somewhere, I always want to try it, normally after the show. And I'll bring my stuff to the show. But for the most part, yeah, I always like to try new things because when I was younger, I was so picky. It was so bad. It was the worst. So now that I'm older and I'm liking more things, I'm I could like a million things. I don't know, because I was just so picky when I was younger. So I always like to try things, and it's just cool to experience wherever you're at with food and whatever else they have going on.
So in closing, if there was any kids watching the show, hello everybody, howdy.
Hi kids.
Hey kids, we got the cool PG this time. If there's any kids watching and they wanted to get in the business, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say first, it's going to take a lot of hard work, which is fine. Especially if you want it, it's really, really easy. The work doesn't seem that hard. Secondly, I would say do your research, really find somewhere, a wrestling school that you think is going to be best for you and what you're kind of going for, even if it's not wrestling, and say it's managing, something like that. There's so many fantastic schools out there. But definitely do your research so you can make sure that the one that you're picking, because wrestling schools are expensive, make sure that it's exactly the one you want, and then just go for it. And every single day, in and out, make sure that you're writing down short-term and long-term your goals, and that each day you're accomplishing something towards the goal that you really are setting out for yourself, and it won't seem that hard at all. It's actually going to be the easiest and the most fun and the best experience and the fantastic journey along the way.
Awesome. I want to thank you so much for coming back on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And it's awesome to have you on to represent you in Women's Wrestling Month, because without women's wrestlers, there would not be awesome matches that you put on. And there's your flowers, because a lot of, I know, male wrestlers never give women's wrestlers the deserve. And that's where Joe comes in and does an entire month in February dedicated to women's wrestling. So please, please go give her a subscribe. Before we go, please tell my fans where they could find you on social media.
Yeah, Instagram, it's Avery Breaux _. Twitter and Facebook is Avery Breaux.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast again. I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm Avery Breaux.
And we will catch you in the next one.